Good morning, everyone. This is meteorologist Shane Hinton hopping onto our social media platforms in order to make sure you have the absolute latest on the severe storm potential that we have on tap for Central Texas as we go throughout the day on Thursday, mostly late Thursday afternoon through Thursday evening. The time is currently 7:48, but before I get started, I do want to make sure y'all can hear me. So I am monitoring the Facebook Live comments. I know we're streaming on other platforms as well. Let me know if you are tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and we'll get started in just a couple of moments. Good morning there, Blanca, out there in Cedar Park. I hope you're doing well. Right now, you're taking a look at the Doppler radar over the past several hours. Many of you, especially if you were in the San Marcos region, probably got woken up by either rumbles of thunder or even hail. We saw quite a few hail reports for the southern portion of our viewing area and extending just to the south of the KVUE viewing area as well. Reports of hail up to the size of golf balls was actually reported. Okay, perfect. Got a lot of sound checks. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Rebecca, you're down there in San Marcos. What did you hear or see this morning? Very curious to know if you saw hail this morning. So as we take a look at the current Doppler radar, you'll see the batch of morning storms that was caused by an upper level disturbance continues to push up to the north. Now, while many people would think, well, that's it. That's all for today. There's another round of storms that's moving through, an even more stronger round of storms expected for the late afternoon, early evening. That's going to be pushing in from west to east as a cold front arrives. Right now, it feels anything but cold. Mid-60s to lower 70s area wide. It is also rather humid out there. In fact, we're seeing enough moisture in the air to warrant some pretty patchy to lightly dense fog. You can see just under 2 miles of visibility in San Marcos, 2.5 miles of visibility in Georgetown and Austin, and even lower than that as you make your way to Giddings. In regard to our wind speed, they are gusting around 20 miles per hour right now. They will be on the increase throughout the day today. In fact, we will eventually have a wind advisory in effect for a little bit later this afternoon. Now you're taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook for today. Everyone in the KVUE viewing area is at least under a level 2 slight risk. That's a level 2 out of 5. However, you'll notice portions of Burnett, Williamson, and Milam County are going to be included under a level 3 enhanced risk for storms. We're going to be talking about what that means in just a couple of minutes. Main concerns are going to be the potential for damaging winds, large hail, and unfortunately isolated tornadoes. Now, as we zoom out a little further, you can see that the highest overall severe weather threat is as you make your way to northeast Texas. We're talking just east of Dallas, stretching all the way into portions of Louisiana and Arkansas. So that's what we're going to be monitoring in regard to the severe potential. I do think we are going to definitely have to be on alert. As I mentioned, we are tracking the possibility of some damaging winds, straight line winds and gusts, large hail, and also isolated tornadoes. In regards to flooding, this is not going to be much of a rainfall event for us. Yes, rain will be associated, but that's not going to be where the severe weather comes into play. As we take a look at the latest high-resolution forecast model run, let's time it all out for you. It's going to be a very quiet in regards to rainfall and storms, late morning and early afternoon. Notice by 11:30, maybe a little bit of isolated drizzle or mist, but nothing too exciting here. As we make our way into the late afternoon, let me back this up a little for you. As we make our way onto the hill country, you can see around 5 o'clock is when that line of storms starts to push in from the west. So if you are commuting out in the hill country at 5 o'clock, either leave a little earlier or make sure you wait a little longer. And we'll wait for that storm to pass through. You'll notice by around 7 o'clock is when we expect the front to approach the I-35 corridor. So for those of you that are leaving typically around 5 o'clock, or you have an even longer evening commute that maybe stretches towards 7 o'clock, either leave a little early or wait for this line of storms to pass through. You'll notice it should be out of the I-35 corridor by 8 o'clock. By that point, we're going to be more concerned with the coastal plains, and then also expecting that to linger through around 9 or 10 o'clock. By that point, we should be clearing up, and then we'll be left with cooler, drier, and windier conditions blowing in from the west. Now, speaking of the wind, there's that wind advisory I talked about that's going to include the I-35 corridor and the hill country starting from 3 o'clock this afternoon until midnight tonight. Gusts up to 40 miles per hour are possible in the I-35 corridor, but gusts up to 50 miles per hour are possible in the hill country. So go ahead and secure anything you can. I know many people, maybe they've already left for the day or they don't have enough time to secure any loose objects before they leave for work. But I just want to show you that those winds will gradually increase throughout the day today. Once that front passes through, this is by 9 o'clock tonight, we're talking 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts, still possible. So whenever you get home today, make sure you just have everything secured. Pull in the trash can. Go ahead and park under covered parking if you can today as well, if you think your car is going to be out in the elements when that cold front passes through. It'll be a breezy start to your Friday morning and then eventually starts to calm down as we make our way into Friday afternoon. For your hourly forecast today, we could see some breaks in the clouds. If we do, our temperatures make it into the 80s. That also kind of charges up the atmosphere a little bit. When we have warmer temperatures, we have more unstable conditions. So it would actually be better for us if it stayed cloudy throughout the day today. However, I do see the potential of us making it into the upper 70s to lower 80s, which is still above average for this time of the year. In regards to our high temperatures overall, they're still going to be, like I said, above 70. We're talking 70s and 80s area wide today. In regard to your 7-day forecast, you'll notice we quickly clear up in regards to cloud coverage. Friday, I see us at maybe in the lower to mid 70s with plenty of sunshine. As I mentioned, it will be a breezy first start to the day. As we make our way into the weekend, that's when I notice temperatures will be on the rise. They're back in the lower 80s. Eventually, we make it back into the mid 80s to kick off the beginning of next week. So let's take a look. I'm going to once again pull back up the severe weather outlook for today and then also sift through some of these Facebook Live comments because I do want to make sure that I can answer or address any questions that you may have. So Rebecca was my friend I was mentioning out there in San Marcos this morning where we did have quite a bit of activity. Said it was awful, wind and hail, and the canopy was lifted out of my backyard from my yard. Goodness gracious. So Lisa talking about going to be a fast storm. Yes, the fast storm is kind of what we're expecting. We had the cold front, or we had storms this morning moving anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. This cold front looks like it should move through the area fairly quickly, which is some great news for us. Good morning, Casey. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Martin and Ron, John out there in Gerald. Good morning, Cheryl, Simon, Maria. Good morning to all of you. Okay, well, you guys, I have to hop off of this stream real quickly because I do have to do a cut-in on KVUE. But keep in mind, we are going to be monitoring these conditions all day long. I will be back on the air on KVUE midday from 11 a.m. to noon to give you the absolute latest on the storm timeline. Please make sure you have a way to get weather alerts. You can do so for free by downloading the KVUE News app to your phone or staying up to date with us on KVUE.com and, of course, watching us on air as well. Until then, stay safe, stay smart, most importantly, stay kind. And I'll see you all again very soon.